Hello, Anna.
Hi.
Thank you for coming to Eco6G. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure. So who is Ana Freire?
I am a researcher and a teacher at the UPF Barcelona School of Management, and I do research on artificial intelligence, especially applied to social good in general.
Very interesting. Anna, everyone now is talking about artificial intelligence all over the place. It seemed that artificial intelligence came to change the world, but now some people are starting to say that maybe there is a hype about AI. So what is AI? Is a hype or is a reality?
I don't think it's a hype, really. Usually hype is a technology that is very promising, but maybe is not so fully mature, it's not like well developed. But I mean, AI has been here with us for decades. In fact, the first time in which AI, like artificial intelligence, was named was in 1956 in the Dartmouth Conference. And since then, we have been developing artificial intelligence and been applying artificial intelligence in many different sectors, such as health, finance, politics, even many different areas, many different from themselves as well. And I think that is well established and it has been applied with success. So I don't think that it will be a hype like other technologies that we have.
So you think it's gonna have a real impact, and
it's having already.
It's having already.
Exactly.
And among the different fields of impact, do you think the telecom sector is one of the sectors where is there any intersection between AI and telecom?
Yeah, I think so. I just mentioned that AI has been with us for many years, but why we are talking about AI so much right now? I think it's especially because of the combination of two different factors. First, high performance computing, or like we have like an extremely power computers nowadays, but also due to big data. We have like a lot of data nowadays. We are producing a lot of data, but this wouldn't be possible without telecommunication networks. So basically why we are generating so much data nowadays. We have like faster networks, cheaper networks, and most of the people can access these networks. So that's why we are generating so much data. Internet, or not internet, the World Wide Web is the biggest repository of information ever. The social networks contain a lot of different data that we can use for many different purposes. So for sure we have there like a very nice combination. And the other way around as well. So I think that the AI can also help telecommunication networks, for instance, for enhancing security, for predicting traffic, for enhancing network management, and so on. So that's a clear symbiosis there.
A super nice symbiosis. And all this symbiosis is useful for something, because we're talking about technology, so telecom networks, AI. What about the user? You have mentioned the user. So what is going to be the impact of this technology change in society?
I think that we are seeing already impact in one of the most important fields that we should put all our efforts in, that is medicine. We have seen, for instance, telemedicine these days. Recently, we have seen some news regarding surgery that was performed by a Spanish doctor from France, but the patient was in China, in Beijing. So basically, they could remove a tumor from the patient using a robot, a surgery robot, just using the fingers of the doctor, and for sure using telecommunications.
Sounds like science fiction.
Exactly, it sounds like science fiction, but it has like networks, communication networks in the background, artificial intelligence as well, very vanguardist technology. So we have to trust on this new technology that we have, especially when we can apply that for humans, for the well-being, right,
Yeah.
of people.
Now, I can imagine there are tons of examples, right? Because telesurgery sounds like a very science fiction thing, but I'm sure there are other use cases that may sound more close to us, right? To today. So do you have experience in any particular project that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I've been working with different companies or institutions, also hospitals, in developing artificial intelligence for different purposes in health. For instance, I've been collaborating with the hospital clinic here in Barcelona in order to predict which is the best treatment for patients with multiple sclerosis, for instance, right? Because the different line of treatment might be like very aggressive for some patients or not efficient for others. So we have been working on that. And also in the field of mental health. So we know that in social networks, for instance, we have like many different problems there, especially for minors or for young people. We have seen that there is already a correlation between the massive use of these platforms and the mental health of users. But instead of just seeing the problem, we have searched as well a solution. So we have applied artificial intelligence in order to characterize how users with mental health issues such as suicide ideation, depression, or eating disorders such as anorexia or bulimia, how they behave in social media and which are the main characteristics, the gender, the age, and so on. So we can launch campaigns addressed to people in risk with telephones or chats that can offer emotional support to these people 24 hours for free. We offer this support with people, they are not chatbots.
They are real
right?
people.
They are real people. And this project, which is called STOP, is one of my main projects. And it's really performing well. So we basically multiply by 10.
It's still active, the project.
It is still active.
Oh, super.
We just closed the third campaign some months ago, and we multiply by 10 the number of chats received in Fundació Ajuda y Esperança here in Barcelona. They have like a service in collaboration with the Ajuntament de Barcelona. They have a service, a chat service to offer emotional support to different people that might need this service, and we multiply by 10 the number of calls or conversations received in this
Sounds
service.
amazing. But now let me ask you, because now that you say we multiply by 10, some people also say talk about the energy consumption of AI. So what happens if you multiply by 10 the usage? Are you also multiplying by 10 the energy consumption? What is the combination of AI and sustainability? How do you see this?
I mean, every time that you are using computational power, you need energy for sure. And especially when we talk about these large language models, such as ChatGPT, for instance, that is something that we don't use, right? But many people are using, like the general population are using them. They consume like a lot of energy, especially for training. When they are trained, they need to be trained, or they need to be shown like a lot of different examples, many different data, natural language data that we produce in order to learn how we humans speak and how they can also generate text, right? So the consumption of these big infrastructures, it's really huge. Yeah. I mean, in Europe, I think that it's estimated that around the 9 or the 10% of the energy the energy consumed in Europe comes from or corresponds to ICT. And the 24% of this corresponds to data centers, in which these kind of models are trained and are run, right? But at the same time, many different strategies are being developed in order to reduce this energy. So we are talking about green algorithms, green computing, or they are developing as well like energy or chips in order that can reduce this kind of energy consumption as well, right? So I think that we're performing well on this regard, and that in some years shouldn't be so
We'll
worried.
find a way, right?
We will find a way in order to reduce the energy, being like using software or with hardware as well. Yeah. That is what we are doing.
So assuming that we have the technology ready, that society is ready, that we managed to develop sustainable solutions, what other challenges do we have ahead to make sure that AI can show all its potential?
I think that one of the main challenges are not the machines, are the humans. Yeah. We that are the ones who design these kind of algorithms, you know. So we are especially worried about what we call fate algorithms, right? F comes from fairness, so we should develop fair algorithms, algorithms that do not discriminate people, for instance. They learn from data. This data might be biased, and we might be like propagating the bias if we do not develop these algorithms properly, right? The second letter is A, that comes from accountability. So every system that is developed using AI should have someone that has like the responsibility of this deployment and of the results of the algorithm, especially when we are talking about algorithms that have any effect on humans, right? Then we have the T of transparency. We should create algorithms that are transparent in the sense that we can know how they think, how they make the decisions. So that's a nice way also to detect biases as well in these machines, right? And finally, ethics. So we should consider ethics is something really important. So do not create algorithms or systems that may harm or may discriminate as well. This is strictly related to fairness as well, this term, right? So luckily, we are in Europe. We just have our recent AI Act, which is the first regulation regarding artificial intelligence here in Europe. That is a human-centered regulation in the sense that there are many deployments of artificial intelligence that are directly forbidden, right? So even humans, even if they want to build some systems that may harm humans, it wouldn't be possible exactly to do that. Yeah. And they also establish like different risk levels for the deployments of artificial intelligence. And this is something that I think that might somehow help us in order to reduce a little bit these possible
harms
or dangers of artificial intelligence.
So let's try to look with an optimistic point of view. So for you, Anna, what does the future look like with AI, telecoms, and all these technologies?
In my view, very promising. I'm very optimistic. It's true that I'm a technology fan, so I always try to see this like in a positive view. And I see that in the near future, we will have like 3 ingredients that will be extremely good for the deployment of technology in our society. And these 3 ingredients are 6G, so the 6th generation of telecommunication networks, also artificial intelligence that we already have, but maybe the general artificial intelligence, not just the narrow artificial intelligence. And the final one is quantum computing as well. So I think that the combination of these 3 ingredients may produce like things, systems, results that we still are not prepared for that, exactly. Wow. And I hope that most of the efforts of the people that we deploy, that deploy technology, go to, especially to 2 sectors. One is health, and the other one is education. And for instance, regarding artificial intelligence, it has the power to personalize, right? To personalize diagnosis, to personalize treatments, but also to personalize education. So we might also enhance the education processes of the population, the next population of our planet, likely.
Sounds like a very promising future.
I hope.
Anna, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure having you here. Wonderful to talk to you, and thank you for coming to EcoSecG.
Thank you very much.